What's up, everyone? It's your boy Jermaine back with another video, back with another in real life video. And we are gonna go on a pretty long ride. We're gonna take the ferry to Treasure Island. Then from Treasure Island, we will take the Bay Bridge, the bike lane, the Bay Bridge over to Oakland. And then from Oakland, we'll make our way through Emeryville up to Berkeley. Then we'll go through Berkeley. And after we go through Berkeley, we will end up in Richmond. Okay, and then after Richmond, we'll take the Richmond Bridge over to, actually we want to go the other way because we can go faster along the front. Then we're going to take the Richmond Bridge, cross the Richmond Bridge, and we'll be in the North Bay. And then from there, we'll make our way down to Sausalito, and then we'll go from Sausalito to Sausalito back to the city. Now, I don't know how long this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a couple hours, you know. I woke up and I was like, I could do this bike ride and get it out the way because I've always wanted to do it. Or I could go to the gym and work out. So I might do them both. Okay, is that a gate E? Gate B. I think that is gate B. I think this is the gate we need to take. Yeah, this is gate B. Yeah, there's the Treasure Island ferry. Okay, so let's jump on the ferry. It's about to leave in a second, actually. All right, this is cool. I've never taken the ferry to Treasure Island before. I was nervous about taking the ferry. I didn't know if I could bring a bike on. And then I didn't know if I could bring an electric bike on. But it looks like we're all good. Check out this ferry over here taking off. Yeah, this is cool. I think this is a pretty short ride, by the way. I mean, you can see Treasure Island is just right over there. This is a little small boat, too. I'm used to taking the ferries in New York. Like, I'm not used to taking ferries in the Bay. I've taken so many ferries in New York. I've probably taken like 10 times the amount of ferries in New York than I've taken in the Bay Area. It's like in New York, I used to live on boats. I mean, will this even make a difference for this heavy bike? Let's go up. We're gonna get a lot of sun. Oh, this is cool. Looks like there's a Giants game today. I see a lot of gear over there on that boat. Dang, how cool is this? Cool. All right, so we are in Treasure Island right now. And we are on the El Jarro. This is the ferry we just took. We just took the Treasure Island ferry over from the beautiful city right there, from the ferry plaza, straight ahead there. Taking it all in, and I want to drink some water before I go because it's about 40 miles, I believe, from this part of the city, and we're gonna go all the way around the bay. So we're gonna hit 3 bridges. So yeah, we got some distance up ahead. But for now, we're on the bike at 194 miles. And yeah, it'll be a long one today, but I'm pretty sure we'll probably have half a battery by the time we get back to the city. But for now, let's get this video started. Ow! Yeah, so Treasure Island is, it's a really cool place. Just not a lot of shops, you know? What is this? They got like a little market over here. They for real got a little market. Look at this. This is kind of cool. This is like a Sunday morning, you know. I don't know if this is like a swap meet or no. It's not really a swap meet. It's just it's all the people in Treasure Island selling stuff. They got a little stage they setting up over here. Oh, they got something going on. They didn't transform this place. I've always wanted to go in this building. What is this building? I think that's like a police station. But that's like a really cool looking building. This old classic Treasure Island building. You know, the part that trips me out is like, I'm just riding through here and then I see the city in the background, which is just gnarly, yo. Look at that. Got the city in the background. All right, let's start this journey. Got to go up this big hill, so let's get this one out the way. All right, so starting this long journey off, so now we are exiting Treasure Island. I really love this part of Treasure Island, how they have just put all these bike lanes and they've repaved the roads and you going cycling underneath freeways and stuff. It just looks really, really cool and unique. Now, in this footage, you don't see many other cyclists. However, there was a couple of cyclists behind me, and there's definitely some up ahead. Some people may say, is this route actually used? I see quite a bit of people using the bike lane. More people use it like with a bike instead of like walking or jogging. However, you can walk and jog, you know, going this way as well. But mainly it's a bike lane. You know, if you're gonna walk on the bike lane, on the bridge, you're gonna be walking like a couple miles. So it's much ideally to do it on a bike. And as we're just cruising through Emeryville, like I say, this to me is like it's like a little field trip, just going around the city. And I got to this area, which I didn't exactly know what it was, but it was just kind of cool. And there's this really cool looking building over here. You're just zooming through the streets, and like I said, I thought I would do a voiceover because I'm not really talking for this whole trip. This was a long ride. I mean, I think it was like 4 hours or something. I was so exhausted about this part of the trip because I had been out in the sun for like quite a bit of time. And this is like straight, direct out in the sun, not really trees blocking you. Yeah, you do go underneath some overpasses every once in a while. But man, this sun was wearing me out. I was thinking to myself, I need to stop and drink some more water. Just so many little areas to explore along this route. All right, back on the bike. We got 13 miles to San Rafael, which that includes the, I think, 6 or 7 miles just on the bridge. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to get out of here because this part got me a little turned around. And looks like we'll be on our way. Now, once you get over here, it feels like a bike freeway. I mean, you're just out here just moving, and then you go through this like little town, and then you back on this bike lane, and we are approaching the Richmond Bridge. Just like that, we halfway through this adventure. Richmond Bridge is very, very unique to ride on because it's just different. It's so long. It is so long. You're sitting on the bridge for like, I don't know, it seems like 20 minutes or something. It's like 5 or 6 miles, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, are those people walking on the freaking Richmond Bridge? Like, what the? I ain't seen it all now, brother. They're like happily walking. This is one long walk. Oh my gosh, look at all the fishermen on the bridge. Today was just an exceptional day. It was so warm in this part of the trip. The other part of the trip, when I was, over in Emeryville before the Richmond Bridge, it was a nice, cool breeze. And once you get over here, it literally felt like the temperature went from like 60 degrees to straight 80 degrees. Very, very clear skies. decent bike lanes over here, but the bike lanes get a whole lot better once you enter into Sausalito. And Sausalito is just, I think it's one of the best biking places in all of the US, if I'm not mistaken, because their bike infrastructure is just next level. But yeah, as we continue to cruise and try not to get lost because we're using Google Maps, and you just, enjoy all the beautiful sights as you're zooming through on your e-bike, not pedaling. I really, really like this tunnel. This tunnel was crazy. Oh my gosh, the temperature just dropped like, I don't know, 20 degrees. Oh, it feels so good in here. So you might wonder, how difficult is this? I would say probably the most difficult part was the sun. Like, I spent a lot of time in the city and I'm not in direct sunlight for like hours at a time. And this was just direct sunlight for hours at a time. However, you could go on a foggy day. A foggy day would be nice, but today that I went was just, I thought it was stunning. I loved it. So many different unique little trails to go on, and you can just spend so much time. There's also a lot of shade in this part of the trip. All right, remember, no jumping from bridge. Wow, they literally had to put that there. Insane, yo. Okay, so come on. This is the part of the trip where I ask myself, am I in a third world country? This bike path right here. And then it just kind of changes up. It's just so unique how the area just keeps changing. There's SF Fitness right there on this nice paved fancy road. I mean, guys, riding a bike around the bay is a lot of fun. And I just went to the North Bay and like parts of the East Bay, but I definitely want to go down to like the South Bay and like see what it's like down there. This would definitely be a fun day trip. I think this would be an amazing day trip, especially if you got a couple days off work. This might be better to do this during the week, because during the week there would be less other like cyclists out. Now myself, I didn't run into that many cyclists, and I did this on the weekend. But the reason why I probably didn't run into that many cyclists is this is a long journey. It's not like a little 3-mile loop that you go around. No, this is like 40 plus freaking miles. There's so many. So this was definitely the hottest part of the trip, like over in this little area of like Sausalito. This actually makes me think, like, when it's cold in the city, I should like come over here and hang out, because it is like, I want to say it feels like it's like 85 or 90 degrees. Like, it is warm. And then from here, you go back to the city and it drops like, I don't know, 15 degrees or so. And you can see a bunch of the really, really nice paved bike lanes here. These are all like detached. And detached bike lanes are just so amazing. You don't have to worry about cars. Cars are not around you. The bikes are going one way. The cars are going a completely different way. A bunch of cyclists out here towards the end, especially in Sausalito. Sausalito, like I say, is like the cycling town. Sausalito loves bikes so much, and so many people ride bikes in Sausalito that they actually have a law in Sausalito that you cannot lock your bike up like anywhere. Like you can't lock your bike up on a light pole or a parking meter. You have to lock your bike up in a designated location, because that's how many cyclists are in Sausalito. I must admit, like, there is one annoying place in Sausalito where they actually charge you to lock your bike up. I mean, I guess it's pretty legit because you don't have to worry about anyone stealing your bike because there's someone watching it. But I remember a couple years ago, I went to this place and it was like, I think it was like $5 to lock my bike up. And it was like just so weird to pay $5 to lock my bike up. But once again, if you're, on a long adventure and you want your bike to be safe while you go and have lunch and, maybe go walk around for a little bit, it may not be, a bad idea to have, bike valet. Bike valet is something I've never really heard of outside of, the Chase Center. Because when people ride their bikes to the baseball games and the basketball games, sometimes they have bike valet. So now I'm going to roll over to 7-Eleven and get me something to drink, get me a water and a slushie, because these slushies just They just calling my name. They're like, just drink on me, like drink on me. So I'm like, okay, I'll get one, I'll get one. And then we're gonna go out of here. Wow, look at this 7-Eleven. This junk looks dated, yo. Yeah, really, really nice guy working there. Okay, so now we're gonna go over and find like a sit down spot under a shade tree because this sun's cooking me and I wanna give my hands a break, give my feet a break, give my body a break. Y'all know what I'm saying. All right, so now we are leaving Sausalito. Right when I took a little break, right when I took the break, right before, the bars dropped to 4 bars. Now they're back up to 5 because I let the bike, rest for a little bit. I've been doing quite a bit of riding, and I touched the back motor, and I know the back motor was warm because I've been riding for a couple hours straight, and it was also very, very warm in the other part of Marin. It's quite warm. Leaving Sausalito, I love it. So many nice views. However, this is the part, if you are on a non-electric bike, this is the part that is the hardest. The uphill portion. Now, if you're coming down from the Golden Gate Bridge, this portion's a lot of fun to ride down, but we're riding up. But on this bike, we're just cruising up, no problems. Taking it easy. There was a part of me that wanted to, maybe go explore the batteries on this trip, but then I thought, let's just make it back to the city. Now we're on the Golden Gate Bridge. This lets me know that I'm almost back to the city. It's so much fun to go through 3 bridges on one day. Yeah, three bridges on one day. If I was driving in a car, how much would that cost? I think you would have to pay for at least 2 of the 3 bridges, But here we just did it all for free on an e-bike, and it was also a lot of fun. And we made a video, and we're telling a story for the people that were not there, so they can go on this adventure with us. Yes. Now, the Golden Gate Bridge, the bike lane is usually the right side, and the left side is usually the pedestrian side. However, sometimes this changes during the week. Sometimes during the week, the bikes take the pedestrian side. But luckily this weekend, I was able to, just fly down the normal side, take the bike lane because the bike lane's a lot of fun. So now we are heading towards Baker Beach because I'm gonna go meet some friends. Not too close to sunset because Baker Beach at sunset would just be so nice. But right now Baker Beach is so packed because it's a warm day. Great weekend. So nice to see so many tourists out. Make sure y'all come back to San Francisco. There's so much cool stuff to see in the city, and also I always like to tell people the coolest things in San Francisco are free. The sites, the parks, places like that, it's all free. Of course, there's great restaurants and there's events and basketball games and sporting events, but all the best stuff is free. The beaches, the hills, the wind, the fog. So come and enjoy because you gotta come and you gotta enjoy. You gotta see the city. So much to see here. So beautiful, especially on a nice day like today. But anyway, I think I'm gonna get ready to wrap this video up. Thanks for going on this 40+ mile adventure with me. Yeah, on this bike I got from Wiz, yo. Wiz, I am whizzing on y'all's e-bike. So make sure you hit up Wiz if you need a bike. But for now, we out. I love all y'all. Bye-bye.